Whoa, Gavin Newsome, you have made my list.
You say no men in female sports.
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. It is an issue of fairness. So I revere sports. And so the issue of fairness is completely legit. And I saw that the last couple of years. Boy, did I saw how you guys were able to weaponize that issue at another level.
Now, there are not a lot of consequences for being on my list, aside from having a computer chicken say unkind things about you on the internet, but you're still on the list, you fucking piece of transphobic trash. I used to wonder how a nice milk toast reheated twink like Gavin had ever ended up with an ironclad Kuntosaurus like Kimberly Tinfoil. But this mask-off moment has really made it pretty damn clear that you two pieces of shit were a match made in Cerberus's colon. This game recognizes game nonsense is not the flex you were deludedly thinking it was. The fact that Democrats spent so long never putting forward a common sense solution to these weak-ass talking points is not a sign that the talking points were ever good. Why were Democrats getting hammered on this? It wasn't because the Republicans had a good point. It was because the Democrats wanted trans people to be terrified, and they wanted people who were empathic toward trans people to vote Democrat out of fear that the Republicans would hurt them. Because the Democrats were too fucking lazy to have a sit down with their major donors and say, we need you to lower your profit margins on essential goods so that our voters aren't so desperate. How could Democrats have possibly outflanked the Republicans on this? It's fucking simple. The trans girls in sports thing was always such an easy non-issue to resolve. Simply say that if girls' sports orgs want to exclude trans girls, then they need 3 simple letters. CIS. Because if it's cis girl swimming, then no, a trans girl should not be in that race. If it's cis girls pole vaulting, then no, a trans girl shouldn't be in that. But the sports orgs didn't actually want to do that because most of the sports organizations know that trans women don't have a meaningful advantage. It's just that they train crazy hard, just like all the other girls, and sometimes they win. God forbid a trans person ever have success. Alternatively, let the trans girls compete with the cis girls, but offer them a separate ranking. So you'd have a cis girls gold medal and a trans girls gold medal. And eventually, you'd probably start getting people wondering why the trans girl always gets a gold medal, even when her time isn't as good as the cis girls, because after a few months on hormones, trans girls don't have a huge advantage. Instead, the Democrats were happy to sit back and let Republicans use trans bodies as wedges because queer people are nothing to politicians other than chess pieces for these sociopathic pieces of shit to move around on the dumbest, most toxic board game. So fuck you, Gavin Newsome. I hope someday you end up in a hospital clinging to life and you end up with a doctor who treats your injury like a game and decides to play the game of how much entertainment can I get before this guy dies? And I hope to God they miscalculate. This man isn't qualified to run an Arby's, let alone California.